She's a best-selling author and life coach, obsessed with helping women to silence their insecurities, build healthy boundaries, and fearlessly pursue the life and career of their dreams. Join her as she provides you with strategies and real-life tips to create your best life. Welcome to Fearless Fridays with Marianne.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fearless Fridays with Marianne. I am your host, Marianne Rivera-Dannert, and today we are joined by an amazing woman who is going to talk to us all about organizing and what led her to write a book. So, hello Ryan, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, who are you and what's your story?
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really feel like we were meant to have some time together. So, I am a former middle school Spanish teacher turned coach. So I have 3 boys. I live in Austin, Texas. I've been married almost 25 years, and that's kept me really busy. I loved being a teacher, but then when it was time to be a mom, I dove all the way into that. And I found out what it feels like to be disorganized and busy and late and unprepared. Little did I know that was all storing away in my brain for a later book. But then after the kids got a little older, I started a in-home organizing business. I love closets, kitchens, all the things, until COVID said, no, we don't do that anymore. Actually, I'm super grateful for that, because I've now pivoted my business to do everything online. And it's not so much about closets and kitchens as about the woman being prepared and being the best that she can possibly be in a world that says you're failing a lot of times. So I love encouraging women in my online membership to let so much of that go and realize they really are awesome.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So what was the transition like when you had, actually going out to people's houses probably and things like that, to then doing it virtually? What was that transition like? What obstacles did you have that you overcame?
It was very interesting. It was a matter of deciding kind of what I did want to take online. There are virtual organizers who do exactly what you would do one-on-one, but through the internet. So coaching them but they're doing all the physical stuff. And I enjoyed that a little bit, but honestly, it hurt me to not be there to be able to help. I wanted to be in there and getting in the drawers. And so another thing I was doing concurrently was I was helping women online with their paper. We were getting together for hours to work on going through filing cabinets and trying to ditch just piles and piles of paper, which is no fun by yourself.
Right. Yeah.
But in a group, kind of fun. Like kind of weird, but not just is it fun, the connection and the just being together and everybody feeling like, oh wow, they just found a check that was 7 years old. I definitely have checks that are lost somewhere that are over 7 years old. So that sort of accountability and just knowing you're normal was really great. So I started to draw more towards that energy of helping women with their paper online. And then it became more about women who have a lot of time at home and not really having the self-discipline to sit down and get work done. So I created sort of the Focus Gym membership. So am I an organizer? Well, yes, but in the sense that it's all online and it's about encouraging women to use their time to do that stuff that's helping them feel overwhelmed.
Yeah. So jumping right into your book in chapter 1. So let me just read this part right here. You wrote, every time I left the house to go somewhere, I had to take the necessary steps to leave the house prepared, on time, or even early, with GPS directions, and arrive at my destination with calm energy. The arrive with calm energy part was part was essential. I felt it was the deeper drive for the whole process. The non-negotiable result was to operate with calm energy. So breaking down exactly why is that arriving with calm energy so important?
Well, partially from my own experience and realizing when I showed up in a room or to a meeting or even on a Zoom call these days, late or without what I needed, I was putting that energy on other people. I was disturbing whatever was going on with them. And I've noticed that it's not uncommon at all. And mostly, I don't want to say just moms, but mostly moms, or those of us that are very beholden to taking care of other people, are in that status of always just never feeling like they are getting where they need. And it's just this not calm. I mean, really, it's so, when you spend your whole day reacting and running from this, oh, and I forgot this, and then your children pick up on that and they forgetting things and you're running things to them. And at the end of the day, you're just looking at yourself going, wait, what just happened with that day? And that just makes you feel awful.
True.
So setting this challenge for myself was about feeling more together. And when you feel more together, it's a whole up level for you and the people around you.
That is so true, because I'm pretty sure that everyone has experienced in some way, shape, or form walking into a room and just feeling that negativity, and that it just spirals from there, and it just takes one thing and it just continues on throughout your day. So tell us a little bit, digging in a little bit deeper into the CALM method, CALM.
Yes. Oh, thank you for asking. So I feel like, the universe gives you information. It gives you a sign. It gives you a lightning bolt, an idea. And as I was setting this challenge for myself, I realized that there were some of the things that I was doing to help me arrive was involving my calendar, was involving setting alarms, was involving laying things out by the door. And I wanted to be calm. So I'm like, calendar, alarm, launch pad, and then I had to kind of come up with the M, but I'm like, that spells calm. I remember running into my husband and going, this is big. Like, this is a thing. Like, this is something I'm going to really dive into. So confirm your calendar. I love alliteration. Confirm your calendar, arm your alarms, lay out your launch pad, and mobilize into motion. Is so simple. My favorite thing about it is so simple. So many people that want to get organized or feel organized buy books and all that stuff. And then you have to read an entire book or do an entire course. The CALM method, you can start now. You can, for tomorrow, you can confirm your calendar. You can set some alarms. You can check your purse or your bag. And you can start right now. And it will help huge.
So in between the laying out your launch pad and immobilizing, there's practice the pause. So you wrote, let's go back into the car. I don't know why it is when our butt hits the seats, we get that moment of remembering. So instead of getting blindsided by the moment, reactive, let's invite it, proactive. We will use it. Practice the pause. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes. And the pause came after I created the CALM method. I noticed that was the piece that would, because even if you do confirm, set your alarms, lay out your launch pad, and mobilize, you need the pause right before you go, because we are doing our very best to get ready to leave the house, and then somebody needs something, or the phone rings, or the dog barfs, or you can't find something. There's going to be that moment that distracts you right at the end. So if you can take a moment, either before you leave, put your hand on the doorknob and just breathe and just give yourself a moment. Even if you don't think you've forgotten anything. Anytime we take a moment, we can move forward a lot more proactively. And somehow getting in the car, that moment, how many times I put my hands on the steering wheel like, yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's something you had to put in the refrigerator and you can't leave by the door, but it's magical. So it's just a moment of mindfulness that just gives you a reset, and it happens. And this is really for kids. It works really well. I'm trying to, as I watched my teenage son come in 3 times today before he left, I went, practice the pause. And he's like, Mom. So it's powerful.
Yeah, it definitely is powerful. And I also like that you talked about distractions, and you mentioned a little tip on there about, when we get distracted by our phones, asking Siri to open up a specific app. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's something that I'm going to start doing myself, because it's so true. We have these, great intentions, not to pick up your phone first thing in the morning, or to just, look at the weather, or, see if there's any, anything that's emergency that came through or anything like that. And then next thing you know, you are on social media and down that rabbit hole and running frantic out the door, forgetting everything.
It is a very powerful tool to just not even open your phone, just ask Siri.
Yeah.
Open X app. I won't say it's foolproof. I mean, there's still, but it does help a lot.
Yeah.
It helps a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what keeps you motivated and inspired?
What keeps me motivated is knowing that I don't have to be perfect. I can just accept my progress. And then every once in a while, I'm able to look in the rearview mirror and say, wow, I am less often, going off. Let me say, I have plenty of moments that are still not calm, but there are many more moments that I feel I've made progress. And honestly, that is the key, right? I think that we all put that terminology on ourselves, like, I want to be organized. I want to, and there's a lot in between. And so staying motivated is just going slowly. And the other thing is learning from mistakes. Because when something goes wrong, there's a message there.
Right.
And if you don't stop and listen to the message, you're just going to do it all over again. And then you're like, oh, right, I remember that didn't go so well. So listening to the messages of mistakes and not thinking a mistake is a bad thing. It's actually a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So is there a particular mistake or an event or something that happened that you didn't listen the first time and you didn't learn and you repeated it again?
Oh my gosh. I mean, yes, for sure. A lot of, in particular, well, I'll just tell a quick story that happened the other night where, so we have 2 sets of keys for all our cars. One set is always supposed to be hanging in the little place that has all the spare keys. But that doesn't always work. So my younger son locked his keys in his trunk over at school, and the other key was nowhere to be found. And maybe I'm tired, maybe COVID is just making me really crazy, but it took me to a 10. I mean, it took me to a 10, and we can still call the lockout service. It didn't have to be such a big deal, but I was really upset. So we dealt with it. It was very, I did not act in a way I wish my son had acted. And then the next morning, I went to look at the place where the keys were. We have a valet key to that car that was literally in front of my eyes. And I was just so not calm that, it was just, I was literally like, wow, listen to your own book. Anyway, so the lesson there was, anger makes you not see things.
That's
so,
true.
So anyway, having keys
Yeah.
where they're supposed to be solves a lot of problems and saves a lot of time if stuff comes up. So yeah, that just happened.
That's so true. That's so true. So what was the transition like, from being a middle school teacher, to getting into coaching and, writing a book, being an author, entrepreneur, and things like that?
Well, I think when you're a teacher, it's a bit of, I call it a calling. Like, you just are a person that enjoys sharing knowledge and guiding. So it was, and I'm also a serial entrepreneur. So even after I was a full-time teacher, I was a tutor. So I was a Spanish tutor. And then I did some direct sales, I did some Pampered Chef. And then I started a little middle school Spanish class at my kids' school, so it's just sort of I'm an idea person and I just go with it. And then, so it wasn't a surprise that I eventually started a professional organizing business with no idea that I would become an author. I guess it just grew out of me. And I was so glad when, I let it happen. I think so many people have beautiful, I like to call it a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal inside of you. And when you spend too much time being busy and not letting it out, so do I thank the quarantine pandemic of 2020 for that? I don't know. But slowing down and listening to what's in your heart, look at what you're involved in, because there's a lot of information there to tell you what you love, what you're good at, and just what floats what blows your balloon up so big. That is where you want to spend your energy. Sometimes people look at their lives and go, I hate this job. What do I really want to do? So that's when you start, seeking inside what you find where you get the love. So coaching is, every day I just pinch myself, being able to coach women to look inside and figure out they're amazing.
Yeah.
Because they forget really fast.
They do forget. And it's also because, women tend to wear so many hats, being a mother, being a wife, whether they're single parents, whether they're married, being an entrepreneur, being a business professional. But at the end of the day, when you strip away all those titles, you're still a woman. And it's the most important relationship that needs to be nurtured, but it's the first one to be neglected.
So true. So true.
Yeah. What does self-care look like to you?
Well, it's self-care is about putting yourself first, no matter what, right? So, self-care at a spa is wonderful, right? But self-care can be, sitting down and enjoying your cup of coffee and not running around and trying to do 6 things at once. Self-care is, taking time in the car to just enjoy the car ride or listen to music you want, instead of always being, well, I have to be following up on this and that. Literally giving yourself time to breathe, I think, is self-care. I love affirmations. Listening to the garbage talk you've been saying to yourself for so many years, you don't even hear it anymore. Turning that around to, I'm enough, or I have amazing things to offer the world, or I am an amazing person, human, mom, whatever. We tell our sisters that all the time. But it's in the mirror first. That's, to me, what self-care is. And then some nice spa days.
Yes. I'll have to touch bases with you to see if there's a nice one locally that I can check out.
I got you covered. Yes.
So as we, start to, trickle down with the time, what are 3 tips that you would give to our audience in regards to organizing. Whether it's organizing internally, whether it's organizing their stuff. What are 3 tips?
Okay. Well, we kind of already touched on my first one, which was about scheduling your self-care. That your to-do list should have, what am I doing for myself this week at the top of the list every week? So schedule that. My tip in the book is I know you're all sitting on a gift card somewhere. Someone has given you a gift card and you haven't used it, or back when we did Groupon and everything, go ahead and schedule it. And you can schedule it. You schedule your dentist appointment 6 months out. Just get it on the calendar. Just get it on the calendar. And then when you see it come up closer, if you need to zhuzh it a little bit, that's fine. But it's there.
Right.
So I really feel like scheduling your self-care is huge. So that would be my first tip. Excuse me. The second thing I would say is, and this is using the call method, you got to plan to be early, so then you'll be on time. You need that 10-minute buffer. Excuse me. Swallowed wrong. You need to plan. Like, you think that you're going to be on time, but you've got to build in that fail-safe. So using the calm method, you're actually setting a series of alarms that warm you up to actually leaving. You would be surprised at how it seems silly to set 2 alarms. But that little bit of time gives you, when you've forgotten something, you get to come back in and get it. Or something goes wrong. I mean, okay, let's be honest. When something goes wrong, right? There's traffic, there's car issues, there's something comes up. If you've built in that time, you don't have to freak out because you've given yourself some bonus breathing room.
Right.
So that's plan to be early, so you'll be on time. So, and using the calm method. And then the third thing I would say is less is best. Okay. You want to simplify as much as possible. I think that we spend a lot of time, especially this time of year. They've all been wonderful emails. Okay. I won't say that they're bad emails, but I've gotten at least 10 emails talking about, what is your word of the year? Have you planned for what are you going to, so much is coming at us, and we sort of shiny object. Like, you have plenty in you already. So you don't need to chase everything. You don't need every journal. You don't need every planner. You don't need every program. Buy our books, right?
Right.
But simplify. What works for you? Does a digital list work best for you? Does good old pen and paper work best for you? Decide, when it's not crazy, how do you do things best? And stay there. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, simply.
I love that.
So,
great tips.
Oh my gosh. Well, my word for the year is reduce and refine. And that is that exactly. Simplifying. I'm running everything through that filter and letting go of so many energy leaks that it's just, my calm is shooting out the roof.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to in 2022?
Oh, wow. We won't lie. It's really, the atmosphere right now is very difficult to think about plans. So I'm going to focus on what I can control, right? So I'm excited to see where I can take my business. I'm not an empty nester yet, but my son is driving, so he is quite independent. So I'm kind of in a reinvent myself mode, right? I have more time than I've had before, but I want to do so many things. Right. So I'm really excited to see what I'm going to come up with. And I'm not writing a new book yet. It hasn't come yet. It's not there yet. And that's okay. I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So as we get ready to wrap up, is there anything that you would like to mention that we haven't talked about, that I haven't, asked?
Absolutely. And I can't believe I haven't said this yet. So my tip would be all the things that we're trying to do. We're always trying to do so many things. We are all super women, but we are so much better together. Get accountability. That is always my tip. We need each other to pump each other up, to rephrase when we hear, terminology like, I know you wouldn't talk to me that way, so don't say that about yourself. But in my membership, like, we come together and we work side by side on Zoom because we know that we tend to squirrel off and not get all the things done that we want to, or even some of them sometimes. So drawing on each other's energy it's the magic sauce. It's the special sauce. So never try to do it. Try to invent the whole wheel all by yourself. Get sisters around you all the time.
I love that. I love that. So your fearless tip for 2022 is get an accountability partner.
Absolutely. A group, an accountability. We are better together. We are so much stronger together. And so put that into place. I bet you already have some accountability. Identify, who's in your life, who's already championing you, and let them do it more.
Right. Yeah. Where can our audience find you and connect with you?
Oh my goodness. Thank you for asking. So I know people are loving Facebook less and less, but I have a Facebook group that is it's so above all the yuckiness of Facebook. It's called the Calm Collaborative. See, there's that calm thing again. Yeah. So it's a free Facebook group. It's so positive in there. So I would love for you to come join me in there. I offer a lot of opportunities for free to get more done because I'm obsessed with helping women get more done. I'm also on Instagram, Organizing for Good. There's a 4, Organizing for Good. And my website, we all have a website, but there's a lot of stuff over there that can tell you more about what it would be like for us to work together. And that's also organizingforgood.com with a 4 in there. So
awesome.
Thanks. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, but isn't everybody?
I'll make sure to put all that information in the show notes.
Yeah,
so thank you so much for being with us this evening.
This has been magical. You are amazing. I love what you're doing with this podcast. So thank you for bringing me on. And I look forward to watching your future episodes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening to Ryan. I hope that you will check out the show notes and connect with her. And if you have not already done so, make sure that you subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment. And if you are an Android user, you can go to my Facebook group, The Fearless Living Coach, or to YouTube, Marianne Rivera Dannard. Leave a comment and a review there, and you can win one of 2 gifts every month. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you found this episode inspiring and motivating. Don't forget to leave a comment so you can win a fabulous prize at the end of the month. You can leave a review on iTunes, or you can head over to YouTube or my Fearless Living Coach page on Facebook if you are an Android user. And as always, remember, you are fearless, you are fabulous, you are a priority, and you matter. See you next time.